Today, I'm going to talk about banking in the Caribbean and answer your question. Should you bank in the Caribbean? Short answer is no. When I was researching and preparing for this topic, I asked a couple of my colleagues at Nomad Capitalist, and everybody was like, no, you shouldn't bank in the Caribbean. But I tried to make a video out of it and tell you more about why that has changed, because Caribbean has been a very popular destination. It has been featured in movies where you see a lead person going into the bank with a suitcase full of cash. But based on our experience today, that is not the case. The experience with the banking has been slightly different, and I'm going to tell you more about that. Hi, my name is Rusudan. I'm a Chief Financial Officer here at Nomad Capitalist, where we help high net worth individuals legally reduce their tax, get second citizenships, and go where you're treated best. Caribbean historically had very good banking options, and it was a very desired destination for people who seek offshore banking and some privacy with their funds. And that was ensured by certain regulations that were not in place before in the Caribbean. And now most of the countries in the Caribbean are part of CRS. It means that they have to share information about the bank accounts that they hold with other jurisdictions, and most of the countries in the Caribbean have lost their appeal as banking service that provides privacy to you and your bank accounts. There are also a couple of changes in the regulatory environment. In most countries, maybe it is appealing to see less regulations for banks, but it also means that they are less secure, and you can see banks going bankrupt a bit more, and that also doesn't really give you much attraction to bank there. And even if they don't go bankrupt, you have always this insecurity about the safety of your funds. So the banks in those jurisdictions are sometimes very coming and going, and you do not really want to have that kind of insecurity with the banking system. Now, that doesn't mean that there are no good banks in the Caribbean. In the Bahamas, you have Lombardo Dier, that even though is a wealth management bank and has a rather high minimum deposit, we had a very good experience with that, and we always recommend it to our clients if that is what the banking product that they seek. You also have good options in Dominica, sometimes with a bit higher minimum deposit, but still they are very good. What we see mostly is that those good options in the Caribbean are very seldom, and they do not always work with all the jurisdictions, and you have to be very careful when you're choosing your bank for your personal or corporate account, because you have to make sure that the bank accepts your jurisdictions. Like if you're from the UAE, you have to make sure that they can open the bank account for UAE clients. So that is also something that you have to take into consideration. So one other thing to take into consideration is choosing a bank that can interact well with other banks. We've had experiences where we were asked to provide more information, or our customers were asked to provide more information to their banks because the payee was coming from a bank in the jurisdiction that was a bit not with the best reputation, let's say. So you always have to make sure that the bank account that you are holding is reputable, and it doesn't provide and ask of your customers to do more work, provide more forms, and just overall have more interaction with the banks. Now, the Caribbean banking does have some good opportunities, as we said, even though that it has lost some of its appeal, but it is rather expensive. So having done a lot of research in the banking, we think that for the price and the experience that you're getting in the Caribbean, you can get much more in some other jurisdictions. For example, the UAE, it is a very a very reputable financial hub, so the banking options there are really rather diverse. You have a lot of banks to choose from, a lot of fintechs to choose from, depending on the banking options that you and the services that you're seeking. One other jurisdiction that comes to mind is Singapore, very reputable and very secure. I don't think that there's anybody who expects something to happen with the banks in Singapore. Portugal has some very good options for personal and corporate banking. Just because the Caribbean may have closed down or is a bit less attractive for banking there, it doesn't mean that you don't have some other options offshore. So with so many things changing with the banking system, it has become even more difficult to make a choice and go with the best option for your personal and business banking. So I do recommend contacting Nomad Capitalist, where we can help you solve your problems.